It was just another winter day when I went to my friend's house for a party. We were playing video games and one of my friends suggested to go out for a walk. So we decided to go for a walk and started getting hungry along the way. We went to buy snacks from the local convenience store. After getting what we needed, we were heading back home when we heard someone yelling at us. "Hey!" We quickly stopped and turned around to see a group of teens hiding behind a car. They were just staring at us. We hadn't thought much of it until one of my friends pointed them out and said, "Look guys, I think those guys are following us." We all turned around quickly again to see them trying to hide. We then started to walk faster, and my friend wanted us to take a shorter way home through a small ditch. While walking through the ditch, we again heard someone shouting at us. When we turned around, we saw the same group running at us. Then my friend said, "Run!" and we all started to run back home as fast as we could. Suddenly, I got a call from my dad, asking when we were going to be back home. I asked him to wait outside the house for us, because some people were following us. When we got back home, I rushed to hug my dad and told him to call the police right away. When we were waiting outside for the police to arrive, I heard a stone hitting my window. When we looked out, we saw the same group of guys in our front yard. When the police arrived, we gave them our statements and the guys quickly headed off. Ever since then, my dad put up security cameras around the house. A few days later, while I was sleeping, I suddenly woke up to a loud noise. I quickly noticed a dark shadow in the corner, so I rushed to turn on my lamp. I was shocked to see a guy that I recognized his face. It was similar to the guy in that group that day. I screamed out loud and my dad came rushing to my room. He was as surprised to see that guy and tackled him to the ground. While he held the guy, he told me to call the police. After a while, the police arrived and they arrested him. I then remembered that we had security cameras, so I told them to check it out. While watching the cameras, we saw that he had entered through an open window. I was in total shock. I'm glad nothing has happened ever since. But I still wonder what could have happened if I would have never woken up.
This happened in the middle of last year. At that time, I was at home with my boyfriend Dan watching TV. Dan was deeply concentrated on what the TV screen was showing, so I was about to start making a romantic atmosphere. But then I heard a knock at the door. I got pretty pissed off as it interrupted, but got up anyway and opened the door. We lived with one of our friends, so at the moment, I thought it would be my friend. But to my surprise, it was a man around the same age as me. He looked a little bit tired and was forcing a smile on his face. He was all sweating, and his eyes were red as if from crying, but it wasn't my business to ask. "Oh, hello," the stranger said with a wide smile, taking his hand out for me to shake. "Hi," I said, looking at his hand and back at him. "Can I use your bathroom, please?" he asked, still having this huge smile plastered on his face. Before I could say anything, though, Dan came behind me and told the guy that, indeed, he could use the bathroom. The man went in there, and Dan and I just went back to the couch and waited for him. Then I heard some sounds, like water pouring in the bathtub. After 10 minutes, I slowly started to get curious, as he didn't come out yet. I told Dan that I should check on him, but he told me to wait a little bit more. So I just waited, and 20 minutes later, he didn't come out. There was just silence in the bathroom. After 30 minutes, well, Dan decided that he'd check the bathroom. However, having a bad feeling, I went along with him just to be sure that nothing happened to him. "Hey, is everything all right?" I knocked at the door at the bathroom, but there was no response. I repeated the actions, but this time I knocked louder and yelled. Dan told me to wait a little longer, but I refused. I pressed on the handle of the door, expecting it to be locked, but to my surprise, it wasn't. I couldn't believe what I saw in front of me. To my horror, there was blood splattered on the floor everywhere, and the bathtub was filled up with a red liquid, as well with a lifeless body in it. The smell of blood filled the bathroom, and I wondered how I couldn't smell that outside. I told Dan to call 911 while I went over to the body to check his pulse. But when I got closer to it, I noticed that a razor blade was shoved deep in his neck. He was just dead. After half an hour, the 911 arrived with the cops. They took his body and we had to give our report to the cops. To this day, I became more paranoid about a stranger. Especially, I'm positive that letting a stranger use your bathroom is not safe and just nonsense. So, don't let the stranger come in. Ever.
Do not ever meet a stranger on the internet. I don't remember any happy memories in my life. My depression was getting worse day by day. I wanted to die. However, I wanted to live. It's ironic. I wanted to regain my will to live. This dying life sucked. So one day I posted on the internet, "I want to commit suicide." Everybody was just saying stereotype things. Life is beautiful, love yourself, blah blah blah. Then suddenly I saw someone's comment caught my eyes. "I'll make you want to live for 100% sure." It was interesting. So I replied, "How?" Then I saw another reply. "We have to meet first. That's the only way I can cure you. It's up to you to believe or not, but just keep in mind that your choice can change your life." We exchanged contacts and met soon. The man was more handsome than I thought. He was kind and trustworthy. He led me to his house. The house was like an abandoned one. There was nothing inside. "Now it's simple. I'm going to kill you. If you want to survive, you have to kill me first." "What? Are you insane? No way, I'm going home." "You said you want to live. This is the best way. Just trust me." Then he took out the knife from his pocket. I said, "No, don't do this to me." He forced me into grabbing his knife. I could see his eyes were already insane. Just then, he posed to fight with me. "Let's fight. You've lost the meaning of life, right? You don't know why you have to live. So just fight with me. Burn your will to live." I tried to escape, but he caught me and knocked me over on the floor. "If you kill me, you can live. And you get your will back to life. How is it? I'm your savior. Oh, you don't have to appreciate it. So stab me or you're dead meat." My body trembled. I've never felt this fear in my life. "Hurry, stab me." He then started punching me like crazy. A massive pain rushed like a flood. I kicked him and he fell back. However, he jumped up and rushed back to me. He kept yelling at me to stab him, and this time he even bit my leg. I tore off his hair desperately to pull him off. He wouldn't stop when his hair fell out, and I could see a hole from his top of the head. He was literally like a dog, and I felt the blood flowing down my legs vividly. He didn't stop. Whenever he kept biting and hitting me, the memories of my life and all the faces of my family passed before my eyes. Being terrified, I cried and begged him, "Help me, I don't want to die, please." Then he stopped and stared at me. This time, I knelt down and begged again. "Do you want to live?" "Yes, please, please." His expression slowly changed mildly. "See, you are saved. Now, you do want to live." "Yes, now I am all good. I want to live. Please let me go." He looked at me quietly and said with a smug look on his face as if he had done something great, "Hey, remember, I saved your life. So don't you dare call the cops." Then he left. After that, it took me a long time to get back to my daily routine after getting treatment. I've been hospitalized and I'm also still in psychiatric care. I eventually ended up reported to the police and they tracked him. Then he was found stabbed and horribly murdered at home. It turned out this man was stabbed to death while assaulting another person. The person who stabbed him was also seriously injured and is now in critical condition. According to the police, more than 18 people have been found to have been assaulted by this man so far.